Alright, guys, welcome. Oh, there's a lot of ads. Ignore the ads. Okay, welcome to One Piece. Let's do this and then this. Sorry for the ads. Alright, yeah, welcome to One Piece arc tier list ranking. Um, Now, this will be coming out in about 2 years. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So, you're currently watching this in 2024. Should be February 29th, 2024. That's when this is scheduled. And the reason why is, like I just mentioned, February 29th, 2024. That's a leap year. So, okay, so the ads come back even if I press X on them. Okay, whatever. We'll leave the XP. Just ignore the ads. Okay. But, yeah, so, I want this. I'm making this video specifically so that it comes out during the leap year of 2024. So it comes out during the extra day, so that the 366th day of the year, which is February 29th. So yeah, this is when that will come out, and the reason why is because I'm currently recording this in 2022, February 2022, and last year I uploaded a video for every single day of the year. And then I went, but wait a minute, you know, every 4 years there's a leap year, right? There's a leap year every 4 years where you have an extra day. And 2021 didn't have that kind of day. 2020 did, but I didn't upload a video for every single day in 2020. And so I wanted to at least make sure I have a video for every single possible day of the year, including leap years. And the only way to do that is to upload the video for one of the leap years. Now, the nearest leap year, because you cannot go back in time, it's too late now. I cannot go back 2 years ago and upload a video for February 29th. So the solution is to just make a video now and wait 2 years for 2024 and upload it then. So yes, that's the solution I came up with. This is gonna be in the scheduled list for 2 years. So the great part about that is that even if I die at some point within the next 2 years, if that unfortunately was to happen, is that this video will come out anyway because it's scheduled. So as long as YouTube does nothing happens to YouTube, this will come out anyway. And then imagine I'm dead and then this video comes out anyway. That would be fantastic. So because then it's like, oh, I'm in die. Well, look, yeah, guess what? He had another bang in his repertoire. I won't be tier list. Nah, hopefully I won't be dead by that point. But anyway, okay, let's go back to the main topic. Let's not get too grim here. We have a tier list. You have all the different arcs. Now you might notice that one of them is not like the others. No, I am not referencing Foo Fighters. It's not like the others. Why do I say I'm not just another one of your race? I'm a pretender. What if I say I will never surrender? Okay, anyway, sorry for singing Foo Fighters. Point is, you'll notice that one of them is not like the rest, and that's a Reverie. The Reverie. So this is an image that I imported personally, specifically because I feel like this list was lacking one arc, and that's the Reverie arc. I feel like the Reverie deserves its own arc mention. A lot of people put it as part of Whole Cake Island, but I think it's too stacked. Yes, it's only 10 chapters, but come on now. So is Roman Thorn, Orange Town. Those are less than 10 chapter arcs, okay? So I feel like Reverie being here is valid, even if it is like 10 chapters. And so much happened in that one volume of One Piece, volume 90, which, yeah, that I feel like I needed to add it here. Now, yeah, so, and the latest arc, we're gonna rank every single arc from Romance Dawn up until Wano Country, which is the latest arc. It's the current arc that's ongoing as of right now. I reckon by 2024 we probably aren't gonna be in one anymore. I'd be shocked if we're still in one in 2024. Nah, there's no way, because I already feel like it feels like One Piece is going to yeah, not One Piece, but one arc is going to end soon. It feels like, especially based on the recent chapter. The most recent chapter came out is 1040, where it seems like Big Mom has been defeated by Law and Kid. Spoilers. I mean, obviously spoilers. Come on now, y'all. We're doing a One Piece arc tier list. We're gonna be talking about the arcs. We're gonna be spoiling One Piece. Um, but I guess you know what I can do. I can go. You know what? Alright. If we're gonna do it like this, since the list is given chronologically anyway, Nah, but then I want to talk about foreshadowing and stuff. Nah, actually, nah. Spoilers all the way through. Spoilers. I was gonna say like maybe when talking about Romance Dawn, I'll only spoil things about Romance Dawn, which will be the case anyway. I'll only talk about what's going on in Romance Dawn. But the thing is, what if some cool foreshadowing happened? Like, oh, it introduced this character that shows up way later on. You know, I really want to like talk about that kind of stuff. So, and I feel like that adds that's an important element that adds to the arc. So I won't do that. Spoilers all the way through. Um, yeah, so yeah, you have been warned. I've already spoiled a little bit, but whatever. And yeah, as you can see, it's a bootleg Reverie image. I just downloaded some Reverie arc image, and then I just put I hand wrote Reverie in red. Now it's probably really small. I don't know if you can see it. Can I zoom in? I can zoom in. Do you guys see the zoom in? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Zoom in. That's the Reverie. I wrote this. You know, like manually, with my mouse. Hopefully it doesn't look that bad actually. I have a terrible. Uh, you know, my writing is terrible. As long as as in like if I'm using a pen or a pencil or whatever. If I write like that, my writing's terrible. If you give me a mouse and I'm forced, but to be fair, I did write these letters very slowly. Like I did just go woo woo very slowly. I can also do this on pen and paper, but typically on pen and paper, my writing is very ugly. So this is this is good in my books. This is okay. It's acceptable. It's a little bit of a discount, a little bit off-putting, but we're gonna leave it there. And yeah, so let's start with where it all started for One Piece. Let's start with by ranking Romance Dawn. Now, Romance Dawn, it's it's a very good, you know, starting arc in my opinion. I don't think it is the best starting arc in any manga or anime or show that I've ever seen. I do think, for example, Promised Neverland has a better start. I unironically think that Naruto has a better start as well. Um, and etc. 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 I can keep on going, but the point is, it's a very solid start. It sets you up into One Piece, but it's not like the best I've ever seen. It's not the greatest hook I've ever seen, but it's interesting enough, and I like it personally. We're gonna be looking at this from a manga perspective. Now, this is a manga chart. Yeah, all manga arcs. So we're looking at this from a manga perspective. And yeah, with Wano, I will just say right now, I'll be ranking it as of what's happened so far, right? So Wano, it can maybe moved up and down. We'll see depending on how it ends. But I'll be ranking it based on my current feelings and how it's been so far. But it's definitely, I feel like especially can be moved up if the ending is good, and if the post Wano stuff. Oh, I'm excited for the post Wano stuff. If the post Wano stuff is good, then you could be moved way way higher up than what I current where I currently have it. We'll see. We'll see what Oda decides to cook for the post Wano stuff. Whenever we get to that point. But I'm excited. Yeah. So yeah, Romance Dawn, good introduction. Good introduction to Luffy and Shanks, and what it means to be a pirate as well, right? In the sense that you know you have these pirates, you introduce the concept of pirates and marines who are good, but then you learn that immediately right off the bat, the manga tells you that hey, not all pirates are bad and not all marines are good. Kind of shows you different sides of the coin. With, for example, Kobe being a good marine, and then you have Helmeppo and Captain Morgan's, not Captain Morgan's, Axehand Morgan not being such good marines, right? Versus yeah, Shanks being a good pirate, and then you have obviously Luffy as well being a good pirate, and then it also shows you that hey, there are some bad pirates as well. So both of them exist, and pirates are known to be bad. But then you're shown that hey, guess what? Luffy and Shanks aren't all that bad, are they? Um, so there's that, and then you obviously, as you go along, you see pirates like Buggy who are pretty bad, and then you see Kuro and stuff. So you see that they're bad, and then you have the bandits, yeah, Higuma, that show up in the first chapter. They're also bad, but yeah, you have good and bad people on both sides, and that's something that One Piece sets up very early, and I think that's something that becomes very important as we go on, is to it's an important topic in One Piece, and that is that uh, you cannot judge a whole group of people based on what they are in the sense. You know what I mean? Just because someone's a pirate does not mean they're bad. Just because someone's a marine does not mean they're good. You have to look at people, as their own person, right? Someone, and everyone has probably their own reasons for being who they are and what and why they are, right? Judging someone based on what they do is kind of crazy. For example, judging a policeman for being a good person just because he's a policeman. You know what I mean? One Piece immediately right off the bat, gives you that, gives you that, you know, that little like talk early on that hey, maybe people shouldn't be uh, grouped like that basically, and that's something that's an important theme that is shown up early that is obviously important and comes again and again and again in as the series goes on, right? Is the treatment of minorities and different clan wars or different like you know what I mean, like different races in One Piece. So that comes, yeah, racism comes into play, as you know. So yeah. So with Romance Dawn, I'll give it honestly. It's a great starting arc, but I can't really give it higher than a C. I think it should be C. Oh, here we go. It goes there because I'm trying to think. It's great, but it's just like I can't just be given arcs S or A, just freely like that, right? Now that we're gonna get many D's here, but we do have to get some arcs lower in lower tiers as well. So we're gonna put Romance Dawn there. Now I reckon we rank these arcs the top to bottom, left to right. So obviously, if you're S tier, you're better than an arc that's in C tier. But also, if you're on the left side, you're a better arc than the arc that's to your right. Let's do it like that, right? So Orange Town, I think I'm gonna rank it also C tier, but I think I'm gonna rank it below Romance Town, right? So that's how we're gonna do this. So Orange Town, another great arc introduces Buggy, who becomes a very important character as things go along. A surprisingly important character, and he also has an affiliation with Shanks. So yeah, obviously Buggy is is a good character introduced to, and he comes back again and again. Right, you see him on the island with only his limbs, and he meets up with Alvida, and you meet him again in Loketown. So yeah, Buggy comes to get up again and again and again in the story. He just never leaves us. Even now, currently in the manga, he's still up and about. He's a friggin' warlord. He's still doing things. So you think he's a one-off villain that is whatever. He's like an early villain, whatever. Moving on, but yeah, now Buggy's crazy. He just reappears again and again, and especially because a lot of the East Blue villains and the villains in general from all the other arcs, they never reappear again, or maybe they reappear in cover stories. But like friggin' where's Gen gone, or where has Don Krieg gone? Right, we don't know. They didn't even those two didn't even get cover stories. We don't know what happened to them after their respective arcs. So to have a villain like Buggy who appears early on, but that keeps reappearing and becomes a more and more important character as the story goes on, you know, yeah, nice for Buggy. And nice to get him introduced early as well, considering his importance. I honestly think he's going to be there during the end game of One Piece, and that's pretty exciting if you ask me. Orange Town in the manga, at least, that is also where we get introduction to Nami. Now in the anime, you get a little bit of Nami in Romance Dawn. I should have mentioned that as well. In Romance Dawn, we get introduced to Zoro, Luffy and Zoro. I completely just didn't mention that at all. Luffy and Zoro. I just talked about Luffy and Shanks' backstory, but you obviously have Axe and Morgan stuff. Luffy and Kobe, they do their thing. They beat up Luffy beats up Alvida. Moving on, Luffy and Zoro meet up. Luffy meets his first crewmate, his right hand man. They bond with each other, and then they form their first little crew. And after beating Morgan, they go to Orange Town, but they say goodbye to Kobe because Kobe is now trying to become a Marine. So good luck to Kobe. Moving on to Orange Town, like I said, they meet up with Nami. Nami's trying to find a map to the Grand Line, which Buggy is in possession of. Luffy obviously also wants it. Luffy and Nami kind of do like a weird team up. They also have they do a bunch of shenanigans. They also have the story with Shushu, which is incredibly emotional. I really like it, especially in the anime with the OST that really hits hard. And yeah, the Gum Gum Bazooka in the end is great. Sh- uh, Buggy also showing the importance of Luffy's straw hat to Luffy by slashing it, and Luffy caring so much about it, and also showing a little bit of the starting mob between Luffy and Nami because Nami helps patch it up for Luffy. So Nami also gets an understanding of how important the straw hat is for Luffy, which becomes important later on in Arlong Park, as you all know. So yeah, anything else to talk about regarding Orange Town? You have Boodle. Yeah, he's the mayor of the town. He's just there. I've already talked about Shushu. I've talked about Buggy. Mojin Kabaji. Mojin Kabaji got wrecked. Moji got wrecked by Luffy. Got One Punch Man, along with his lion dog thing. Lion. Kabaji got by Zoro. An injured Zoro who got stabbed. But he did his thing. Zoro's always injured though. There's never a point in the story where Zoro is not injured. He's too strong. He needs to be nerfed at all times because he's always injured. Yeah. I think we can move on to Syrup Village. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do think Syrup Village is the worst arc in One Piece. I'm gonna put it deep here. I do think it is the worst arc in One Piece. It's not. And when I say it's the worst arc in One Piece, I mean it's the worst arc in One Piece is still very very good. It still has a lot of great stuff in it, and that goes to show how good One Piece is. It is my favorite story after all, my favorite manga, my favorite story. Like I said, so for me, even Syrup Village is great. It has a lot of great moments. I think it's a solid introduction to Usopp. The boy who cried wolf kind of story I think worked really well, and I got super emotional when nobody believed in Usopp, but Luffy was like, "Nah, all right, we'll deal with Kuro for you." Like, Luffy's own number were like, "Yeah, now we'll stick with you." That got me because Usopp, I feel like Usopp had no way out, and he kind of was like about to give up. So, yeah, that was great. No, but I do think and I actually like Kuro as a villain. Surprisingly enough, not so much the cat gang, the Meow Bang cats. The cat, I don't really the guys that the two that Zoro fought, right? Forgot their name. Zam was it? Sham and Bucci. I think they're Sham and Bucci, the Miaben brothers or whatever. Yeah, I don't. And the Nyanbom brothers, something like that. I don't really care about them, but I like Kuro as a villain. Surprisingly enough, more so. I found it to be more interesting than like a Don Krieg or a Accent Morgan. I found Kuro to be more interesting, a little more with the whole story of him, giving up on being a pirate, right? Trying to have this massive plan to take over the mansion, even though the plan was terrible. Like everyone's already memed about plenty. Uh, but yeah, Django is also incredible. Michael Jackson beat, and yeah, Gum Gum Bazooka's nuts in against Buggy, and here we have a Gum Gum Bell from Luffy to take down Kuro. Nice to see. But yeah, it's just okay. The arc in general, right? I mean, think in the anime especially drags out a little bit at times, but in the manga I think it's fine. It's just okay. It's not that it's a bad arc at all. It's just like even it's still very very good. It's still One Piece. It cannot be bad. That's the thing. It cannot be bad because it's One Piece, right? It's always gonna be good. So yeah, I don't really know if I had much else to say, but I don't know. It might just be like the worst start introduction in Usopp, right? I think it did a fine introduction to Usopp, but other than the specifically "Boy Who Cried Wolf" bit, where that actually got me emotional, the introduction might just be just didn't hit as hard as the way Luffy met Zoro or the way Luffy met Nami, and Nami was like, "Hey, I'm a little thief." That was nice, right? This one was just didn't hit us quite as the same, but yeah, yeah. Next, we have the Baratier arc. Now, I should also mention that I am. Yeah, I guess I'll mention it later. But yes, I was gonna say I'm planning to also do a One Piece character uh, tier list thing where I rank every single character. But that's something I'm gonna do later. This comes first. Okay. Baratier, I'm gonna put it. I was gonna say maybe A, but I think I have to do it B because of how many goated arcs that are gonna go in S and A. Baratier though, I think it's the first arc in One Piece where like people typically say Arlong Park, but I think for me Baratier is the first arc in One Piece where this is what's gonna hook you into One Piece. You know what I mean? If there's one arc early on that's going to hook you into One Piece, it would be the Baratier. If you're not already hooked by Romance Dawn, Orange Town, or Surf Village, you might just get hooked by Baratier, because that's the point where I feel like Oda starts getting a knack for the Straw Hat stories, right? Um, with Sanji and his backstory, and obviously that gets expanded on later. They expanded on later on, but yeah, the Sanji backstory is very very good in the manga, especially in the anime. They just completely skipped the bit where Zeph ate his own leg, but in the manga, very emotional backstory. Even in the anime, to be fair, I'm not gonna completely blow it off. Baratie also had the Zoro Mihawk fight, so let's not forget about that. Um, I think that alone makes Baratie a pretty awesome arc, because that fight immediately early on sets the bar for how strong one of the strongest characters ish in One Piece can be, right? The strongest swordsman in the world. How strong can the power level get to, if that makes sense, right? How strong do we have to get to? And I think that's important, because to avoid stuff with something like Dragon Ball, where characters just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and the power just keeps creeping up and up and up and up. Here you have it so that they get stronger and stronger, but also Mihawk being introduced early on sets the bar of like, this is one of the strongest people in the world. Now kind of ish where the bar is at, right? So I think that's a good point. Good thing from Oda. And then you have Gin. I think Gin's story is very good, and yeah, um, I like the well the I didn't really care much for Don Krieg, but the finisher for that fight and Luffy's speech I thought was great. Sanji saving Luffy as well, talking about the All Blue, I thought was very emotional, and obviously Sanji's farewell to Zeph was extremely emotional. So yeah, moving on. Nami betrayed the crew during Baratier. She took the ship and the map to the Grand Line, and then went straight to off to Arlong Park, where she revealed herself to be part of Arlong's crew, and we got her backstory with Nojiko telling her backstory, and this is where we get the first really good moment for me. Zoro takes down a big chunk of the Arlong crew by himself, until he's injured, because he got injured big time by Mihawk here. But this is where you get a really good moment, in my opinion, in the manga. Luffy, when Nojiko's telling Nami's backstory, Luffy just says, "I'm gonna go sleep. I don't really care. I'm gonna go take a walk." He doesn't care at all about Nami's backstory, right? He doesn't really care about knowing her past, and that's how Luffy is in general. He doesn't care about people's past. He never pries into people's past or what happened to them. He doesn't really care, right? It's his crew. He's not gonna, right? If they need help, he's gonna help them no matter what, right? So I really like how Nojiko did the whole thing, explained the backstory to Sanji. I think Sanji and Usopp were the only ones paying attention. To be honest, Zoro was not paying attention. Luffy just kind of went to sleep and went for a walk. Eventually, Nami, trying to raise her money for the village, didn't really work out, and asking Luffy for help. And this is where I think the anime leveled up from manga. Asks Luffy for help, and Nami says, "You don't know what's going on in this island. You don't know what's happening. You don't even know what past is, right?" He says, "You're right. I don't." And but the moment Nami says, "Help me," Luffy's like, "Yeah, I'll help you. Of course I will." And in the anime they did so well, because they were taking place and they do the whole walk to Arlong Park. Goated moment. Still one of the best moments in all One Piece, in my opinion. And the Luffy and Arlong fight was so good. Usopp even got a fight with Shu. He also had another pretty good moment in this arc uh, where Arlong's talking to Luffy, and Arlong goes, "Oh, you can't fight with swords, and you can't and you know, you can't so what can you do? You know, you can't fight with swords, you can't do this, what can you do? And Luffy goes, yeah, you're right, I can't fight with swords, and I can't cook, and I can't navigate. Hell, I can't even lie. So Arlong goes, okay, so what can you do? So then Luffy goes, I can beat you up. That's what I can do. I can protect my Nakama, and I think that's a very hard hitting scene early on. That that you know, that that shows Luffy as like that kind of rock solid captain for the crew. That you know, he needs his crew to be able to, you know, succeed as a pirate. But the crew also depends on him as that really strong, capable captain who, even though he can't cook, he can't lie, he can't do all this, he's so strong that he's able to provide safety for them all times and make them feel secure, make them feel happy, and all that. And Luffy's got charisma, so that was a really, I think that was incredible. I think it was great. So I'm gonna put Arlong Park in A tier. I think it's an A tier arc. I think it could be argued that it should be S tier, but let's wait on that a little bit. Next we have Loketown. Loketown. Wait, did you say Roketown? Okay, it's spelled with an R here, but I'm typically used to the spelling where it says Loketown, like with an L. But in Japanese, L's and R's, y'all know how that goes, right? Ru instead of L, Ru, right? Eneru, NL. Y'all know how it is in Japanese. It's a little bit weird. Is it Roketown or is it Loketown? I feel like Loketown makes more sense. Whatever. Um. So here we have Dragon. Showing up, then we get the introduction of Smoker, but he shows up to help Luffy against Smoker. That was hype, and especially knowing what we know now of Dragon and all that, and knowing that he's Luffy's father, the fact that Oda foreshadowed it so early on, huge plus. The whole Roger execution thing, I was not expecting that to have happened here, and I was not expecting it to get to that so early on that we get the whole Roger execution place. Um, Smoker's character introduction was really good. The way he's like a scary man from like looking from the outside, but he still helped the little girl who tripped and who tripped with her ice cream on him. He still gave her money. He was so kind, showing that Smoker's a really kind marine, and showing that hey, you know what? Not all marines are bad because we had a streak of bad marines so far. And in Arnold Park we had Nezumi, who's a little bit of a weird bad marine, right? And yeah, we had bad marines with Morgan, Axan Morgan and stuff, and Helmeppo. But here we Smoker we see as an example of a good marine, and he still hunts Luffy in the shards still because you know they are pirates after all, and they just recently got a bounty from Arlong Park. So I thought it was good. Buggy's introduction was great. Alvida ate her devil fruit, which some people say it's weird with Alvida getting devil fruit, and then she lost all that weight, and then because she had this smooth fruit, so that made her lose weight. Whatever. I liked her introduction with Buggy and the way they teamed up and all that stuff. I thought that was good. The moment where Luffy got incredibly lucky and survived getting decapitated was great. I really like Rogue I'm gonna put it B tier. I guess I'll put it below Baratie. Yeah, I think it's a good arc. Reverse Mountain. Now we have Laboon. What is this image? What is this image supposed to be, y'all? Wait, let me zoom in. Grand. Oh, okay, it's a map to the Grand Line. Okay, because I was like, I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Is that smoke? What is it? Okay, so it's a map to the Grand Line, and you know, because when you go to the Grand Line, you go up Reverse Mountain, and then the first exit, the first thing you see when you, as you exit, you see Laboon. So yeah, the Strides met Laboon here. They also met Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine, I believe. Who is Vivi, and Mr. Nine, Miss Wednesday is Vivi, and Mr. Nine is Mr. Nine. And they also meet Crocus again. More beautiful foreshadowing from Oda that hey, Crocus is part of the Roger Pirates. Not just that, obviously Buggy and Shanks are part of the Roger Pirates, both of them, and that's why they know each other. But not just that, we also had the little scene where we get to actually see Rayleigh in a flashback between Buggy and Shanks, where they argue whether the South Pole or the North Pole is colder, which I believe, I don't know which one of them was arguing for the South Pole, but whoever is arguing for the South Pole being colder is correct. I'm pretty sure the South Pole is colder than the North Pole. Y'all can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. So South Pole is colder, and you get to see Rayleigh there. So the way they're foreshadowing, the way Oda's foreshadowed Roger's crew and seeing them in the story is actually fantastic. And yeah, Laboon's story is pretty good. Reverse Mountain is made even better by Thriller Bark, because we see more of Laboon. So I think that's a big plus for Reverse Mountain. And in the anime, especially the comedy is top tier. This one is so funny. The crocus bit where he's staring at them, still some of the funniest One Piece, man. So for me personally, I'm gonna put Reverse Mountain in B tier. I think it's a very good arc. Next with Whiskey Peak, this was a one-man army. We had a little bit of the controversial scene where Luffy fought Zoro, but the Zoro one-man army stuff I think was incredible. I think this arc is a slightly underrated, to be honest. I think it deserves a little more praise than it currently has. I think it's a very solid arc. Um, I thought the whole thing with Mr. Five and Miss Valentine, yeah, that's her name, was so freaking funny. The way Luffy and Zoro fought each other and then destroy them while on the way. Now, a lot of people say that the whole stuff with Luffy and Zoro was out of character, but when I see from a comedic perspective, I think I can forgive it, and I think it's hilarious. And Nami beating them both up in the end after they just destroyed the entire Baroque works at the time, I thought was great. And and then just Nami just getting angry at them. And yeah, proper introduction of Vivi and as well as Igaram. And at the very end as well, Nico Robin, or maybe a sneak peek of Nico Robin. I think Nico Robin meets them between. Wait, was it between Peak and Garden with Little Garden Drum Island? When does Nico Robin actually meet the Straw Hats? I'm gonna Google it. I don't know which arc. Let's see which arc is Robin introduced, or is Robin introduced? Sure, it's gonna say Alabasta. That's the problem. Yeah, but when was her first appearance? I can check the wiki. Her first appearance was chapter 114, apparently, and that was during the what was chapter 114? The sharks decided to leave Whiskey. So it was after Whiskey Peak. That's what I thought. Okay, so so yeah, okay. So what? Because that's what I thought. Because Whiskey Peak, that's where Robin destroys Igram's ship. Igram being Mr. 8, I believe. He's also undercover, just like Vivi. So Robin destroys his ship, but he survives it, obviously. That's like, a fake out death. But it's not really a fake out death because Robin kind of let him survive. So unlike the other fake out deaths that we see later on that are very validly criticized, that one is not bad to criticize, the Igram one specifically. And anyway, um, yeah, what was this? What was it? Yeah. Uh, we get introduced to Robin at the end of this arc, but it will be in between arc between Whiskey Peak and Little Garden. And I think Robin's introduction is so good. In the dub, especially, surprisingly good dub for Robin. The way she introduced herself in dub, I watched this scene in dub was very good. And Robin being very kind of mysterious, kind of eerie, but then you also sense that like she's not completely a bad person either. I feel like, given the shots, the eternal pose, which led, I don't even know where it led to nowhere. I don't care. Lucy destroyed it, whatever. Uh, and yeah, Vivi as well, introducing us to the Baroque works, but more than that, to the concept of warlords. I think it's very good that we get introduced to that so early on as well, because the worlds become important as we go on. Um, so yeah, I thought it was good to get introduced to the concept of warlords and Crocodile being a warlord, and that's the guy they're going to face next, of course. And yeah, in the manga as well for Whiskey Peak, I know because I read it. Vivi's outfit, by the way, yo, yeah, they censored it in the anime, made her look, you know what I mean. But in the manga, she had like this swirly things around her, on her breasts, and they kind of the way they circled around her nipples. A little bit suspect, I'm not gonna lie, Oda, but the anime decided to censor it. But yeah, that was a wild character design for Vivi. I can't believe Vivi dressed like that. But anyway, Oda wasn't. It's not like Oda was planning to have Vivi be a villain to begin, a good person to begin with. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, in an interview or in SBS or something, Oda said that he wasn't originally planning to have Miss Wednesday be Vivi. He wanted to have a different princess. But I think he liked Vivi's character design or something. He liked Vivi, so he was like, Miss Wednesday. He was like, okay, yeah, I'll just have her be the princess, and then she's undercover, and Igram is undercover as well. So yeah, let's do that. And it worked out in the end. So yeah, for me, Whiskey Peak is actually also in B tier, but I think it's better than Reverse Mountain. The Zoro Woman Army stuff is so good, and I think it's also a hilarious arc. A lot of One Piece arcs are hilarious, but I think it's a hilarious arc. I don't think it's quite as good as Logtown, but the comedy plus the One Man Army stuff plus Robin and Vivi and she talked to the Four Lords, I think it was good. Little Garden. Now, Little Garden, I feel like it's an arc that's going to be moved higher after Elbaf arc, which I'm sure we're gonna get eventually. Maybe if the arc after one arc is Elbaf, maybe by the time this video comes out, Elbaf arc will already be currently releasing. Hopefully, I mean that'll be fantastic. If not, then that's disappointing. But we'll see. We'll see what all this has to cook. We don't even know if Elbaf is a guaranteed arc, but I feel like we as fans are owed an Elbaf arc. Come on, it's been set up so many times. It gets set up in this lobby as well. But yeah, Little Garden, the Giants, Usopp being a very important person here. Mr. 3, I think, is hilarious. I know a lot of people hate him, don't like him, but I really like Mr. 3. And you know what I really like, surprisingly enough, is Miss Golden Week. I think Miss Golden Week is so freaking good in this arc, and I just love her character design. I love her ability. It's not a devil fruit. It's just her straight up ability to use her painting to trap people. I think it's great. Um, the whole cake thing might have dragged too long. The cake wax thing might have dragged on a little long, but it's provided us with those great, with some hilarious scenes with Zoro trying to cut off his own legs to get out, and Nami and Vivi also in trap going like no, but Luffy showing up just in time with Usopp. And by the way, Zoro still has those scars on his legs because he actually tried to cut off his own ankles to get out of there. So he still has the scars. Like you see those scars in Jump Island, which is the next arc. Like, he still has a scar. I don't know if he. I mean, when the last time we've seen them in the manga or animes, but yeah, I think that's a very cool detail. How Zoro still has those those ankle scars. Yeah, in Little Garden, from Little Garden. So yeah, and obviously he's got this huge chest scar from Mihawk. So Zoro's got quite a lot of scars. He also has his left eye scar, which hasn't been revealed yet. Maybe by the time this video's come out, we'll have got more hints as to what happened to his left eye. I don't know, but yeah, Zoro's kind of struggling. He's in need of an eye. Um, maybe Mihawk cut him up real good at some point. I don't know. Maybe he had a rematch and Mihawk cut his eye that time. Between time skip during the time skip. But yeah, the Giants I thought were okay. I'm not as big of a fan of the Giants as I know a lot of other One Piece fans are. Like these two Giants specifically, Kashi and Oimo. I'm talking about Kashi and Oimo are the Giants from Ines Lobby, by the way, or Ines Lobby. But these two Giants, Dory and Broggy, I'm okay with them. I'm also okay with Kashi and Oimo, but again, not like the biggest fan. Um, but yeah, in general, I think the Giants were okay. I was having a lot more fun with Mr. 3. I think Mr. 3 shenanigans were great. I like Miss Golden Week. There are a lot of comedic, fun, hilarious moments, and Luffy punching Mr. 3 in the end I think was great. So yeah, I'm gonna give this arc. Let's see, Little Garden. I think I'm actually gonna say that I like Romance Dawn more. I'm gonna put it C tier, and I think I like Romance Dawn more. I think so. It's not a bad arc per se, but it's just kind of that's kind of there. It's fun, has some fun moments. It also has, to be fair, the Sanji talking to the crocodile moment where he introduces himself as Mr. Prince. That's a fantastic moment. So yeah, I think it's a C. I think it's an acceptable C here. Drum Island, man, this arc, yo. Chopper's backstory, the Hillook speech, people down there forgotten. Luffy climbing up the mountain. Oh, now again, the villains weren't great. Wapol is not a great villain, I agree. But we also have the whole Blackbeard introduction, like Blackbeard being mentioned to have gone to Drum Island. And the moments, again, more funny moments. Vivi dragging Usopp by his nose. So freaking funny, man. So many funny moments with Kureha. Luffy and Sanji with Kureha, so good. So good. And a lot of great Nami moments as well. Uh, Nami appreciating Luffy for what he did for her again, taking her all the way up there. Uh, and yeah, some funny moments with Zoro getting lost, like Kureha being there kicking him and stuff. But yeah, the villains weren't great, but the moments and the backstory and just in general atmosphere with the Sakura trees and all that. This arc is amazing. I want to go up as far as say it's 8 here. We'll see. It's either low A or high B for me, but we'll see. I do think I prefer it over Baratie though. Not as good as Arlong Park, of course, but I do think I have it over Baratie. Next is the Alabasta arc. This is the first Titan arc. This is the first big One Piece story arc, which is like like 60 plus chapters or something. A lot going on. Crocodile, final boss here, villain. Uh, the Straw Hats members have gone up to 6, including Luffy. They've increased up to 6 members now, with Chopper as the doctor. Chopper is the emergency food, as they also say it. It's so funny. Why do you want to invite Chopper to the crew? Sanji goes, emergency food. Nah, but yeah, Albasta's great. Had a lot of great fights. This is the first arc with every single stride. We see every single stride get to fight properly. You know, Arnold Park had that too, but this one strengthened that feeling that okay, every stride is useful. Every stride gets a fight. Every stride does their thing. Smoker coming back. Ace. Let's not forget Ace. Ace being introduced. Fantastic introduction to Ace. Fire Fist. Let's go. Smoker was great. In general, a great arc. Considering Ace is Whitebeard Commander, looking back, well, Ace had no business with crocodiles personally, so Ace didn't care. But Luffy and the others did. Ace was just searching for Blackbeard. But yeah, again, the way Oda sets up the Ace hunting Blackbeard stuff, certainly on in Alabasta, even though it doesn't become important, like it doesn't become hugely important until Linus Lobby, and it becomes even more hugely important until Marineford. But still, Oda set stuff up since Alabasta, like, hey, Ace is chasing after Blackbeard because Blackbeard betrayed them and killed one of the members of the Whitebeard pirates, right? So cool. Yeah, a lot of great fights, a lot of Luffy getting beat twice before finally coming back and beating Crocodile. The Poneglyph, Robin, uh, joined the crew at the end in a very funny scene. Vivi's farewell, still one of the best moments as well in the entire manga with them all holding their arms up with the X mark. So good. This arc, I'm almost wanting to. Is it better than Arlong Park though? I think it should be. Yeah, I think I put it. What's going on? Alabasta. Let me drag you. I think it should be better than Arlong Park, but I don't think it's quite S tier. I don't think it's quite S tier. I think I'm gonna reserve my. I'm gonna put high standards for S tier for now, and we're gonna leave it there. So next we have Jaya. Jaya introducing Blackbeard immediately right off the bat. Him and Luffy don't get along, but still Blackbeard kind of being an antithesis to Luffy, saying, "Oh, dreams never end, right?" All that stuff, so good. Luffy's bound to be seen increase once again to 100 million. Bellamy, Luffy punching Bellamy. Still, I've said this like a couple times now, but One Piece has so many good scenes. But Luffy punching Bellamy is generally one of my favorites, man. I get goosebumps every single time. And the best part that people always forget, it's not just Luffy punching Bellamy and having his whole jaw, his face having an indent of Luffy's face. It's Luffy walking away, blood on his hand. Everyone asking, "Yo, where you going?" And Luffy in front of everyone who didn't believe him at all, saying, "The sky." Like points up at the sky and goes, "I'm going up to the sky." So cool. That was the coolest moments. Amazing, amazing stuff right there. Luffy is going, man. Because they were all making fun of him, like there's no such thing as Skypiea, there's no such thing as a Sky Island. They all kind of beat him up along with Zoro. But then when they once they mess with Noland, not Noland, with Cricket, that's when Luffy's like, nah, that's it. All right, I'm not accepting this. So yeah, Luffy went in on them and they stunted on them. Showed Belly what's up. Blackbeard was great. We also in Jaya, we also got to see a little bit of a sneak peek of Shanks and Whitebeard meeting. And now they didn't quite meet this arc, but Rockstar did go over to Whitebeard and he's like, "Yo, Shanks is warning you to bring Ace back so that because he shouldn't be fighting Blackbeard. It could go bad because Shanks did call it that these things could go back. Ace is not going to win that fight because Shanks has his scars from Blackbeard. Obviously, that comes back and it becomes important in this lobby though. So we'll get to that in this lobby. So yeah, that setup was good. We also have Ace meeting Buggy here in Jaya for a brief moment. So yeah, a little fun stuff there. Jaya, just for the setup as a setup arc and all the great stuff that happened, Dreams Never End, Blackbeard, all that stuff, Luffy and Bellamy. I think honestly A tier above Drum Island. Above Drum Island. Ooh, that's. Yeah, I think so. I think above Drum Island. I think so. Uh yes, but below Arnold Park for sure. But I think Jai is such a good setup arc and sets up so many important details. And not only does it set up so many important details, but it's also good in its own right, like it's an individual arc. So good with the Bellamy stuff, the Cricket stuff, Blackbeard. So many good stuff happens. Where it's not just it sets up future stuff so well, but it's as its own arc. I think it does a great job. Next we have Skypiea. NL, one of my favorite villains in all of One Piece. Can I just say that? And I know that's not a popular take. I know how more people prefer Crocodile or Lucci or you know or Doflamingo, and I really like those villains as well. I'm not saying NL is the best villain in One Piece. I agree with everyone that Doflamingo is the best villain in One Piece. But NL is one of my favorites. He's like top three for me. I think he's one of the best villains. Skypiea, I think, is a fantastic arc. Honestly, straight up S tier. Go up to S. I think Skypiea is an S tier arc. I think Skypiea is slept on so hard, man. I think it's up there with one of my favorite arcs. I think I know a lot of people skipped it, especially in the anime because it was slow in the anime. But I just found the entire adventure fits so fun. Because that's what One Piece is all about, adventure, right? Other people felt like it was a spin-off side story that has nothing, is not relevant to the One Piece, is not relevant to them fighting One Piece, which, by the way, it is relevant. They found a poneglyph, Roger's up there, right? The poneglyph is bound to be relevant to knowing the history of the world of One Piece, which, by the way, history, can we talk about the lore, the backstory with Nolan and Kalgara? Come on. Wiper also being one of my favorite side characters. I've always hoped that he got introduced, but man, Wiper's so good. NL is such a great villain. Luffy's final fight with NL is fantastic. And yeah, just the entire war, like the atmosphere of them being in the sky, but also like the forest area. I was really hooked. I was really engrossed into it. So when I learned that this was a very unpopular arc, I was just kind of like shocked, like surprised, like why? Come on, like I understand that it feels like a side thing, and I understand why a lot of people would skip it because in the grand scheme of things, it might look like it's not relevant to the plot, it's not relevant to the main story, which is Luffy finding trying to go find the One Piece. This is just them going to the sky, and the thing is, another thing that might do it for many people is that when they go back down to the Blue Sea, nobody's aware of what happened up in the sky. So when they go back down and do stuff, nobody's aware that Luffy beat Enel and that he took a lot of gold and money with him and all that. So nobody knows of what actually happened up there because obviously the Sky Islands are disconnected from the Blue Sea for the most part. So people don't really know what's going on up there. People don't even know that this island exists. That's proven by Jaya, where everyone was like, "Doesn't no such thing exist," right? So yeah, but yeah, I love it a lot, and I think it's an S tier arc. I think I do prefer the Real Alabasta. I do. So okay. I think you can go to Long Ring Long Land. Long Ring Long Land. Hilarious arc. Again, another arc that I think is underrated because so many people skip this. So many people have just when reading or watching One Piece skip Skypiea, then skip Long Ring Long Land and go straight to Water 7 Lobby. Now I understand why, because Water 7 Lobby. I'll get to that in a second. I understand why you'd skip to these two arcs, but Long Ring Long Land is so funny. and at the very end sets up, the whole Aokiji stuff, sets up the whole themes with Luffy being the captain, what it means for Luffy to be the captain of the crew. Can he defend his crew properly? Oh, I'll get into that later. I'll cook into that later with Water 7 in this lobby. Just wait. But long that, so funny. Chopper being taken away right away. The extra round that they did in the anime with the filler stuff was excessive, I'll admit. But in the manga, it was hilarious. After Luffy was great. Some people are like, it's saucy, it's kind of racist, whatever. No, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. It's funny. It's not. You're taking it too seriously. Uh, yeah, I thought it was a fun comedy arc. It's not super long in the manga either. In the anime, I know they dragged it out and made it 20 plus episodes. But in the manga, what was it? 20 something chapters? I don't know. It wasn't that long. So, yeah. I think it's a very funny arc. And I, unironically, want to put it B tier. Now, a lot of people put it D tier or F tier or whatever, pretty really low. But I think it's so funny. I don't. Honestly, I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Reverse Mountain. I did. And yeah, above Whiskey Peak as well, I think. No, wait. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Whiskey Peak above it. But definitely more than Reverse Mountain. Because Reverse Mountain also has a lot of funny scenes. But I think the Long Ring Long Night was just concentrated, hilarious scenes. And Fox is not as anointing me as he was for a lot of other people. So, yeah. Moving on, because I want to kick with Water 7 Ines Lobby. Water 7 Ines Lobby, right off the bat. Come on, y'all. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? S tier. S tier. S tier. Best two arcs. Honestly, Water 7 Ines Lobby for me, I don't really like to look at them as separate arcs. I think they should just be looked at one big arc. It's kind of like Wano. Wano, you don't really separate it in acts. I mean, separate in acts, but you still call it Wano. Or you don't separate it to Wano, the main Wano arc, and Onigashima. Separating this lobby Water 7 to me feels like separating Wano and Onigashima as two separate arcs, right? I don't feel like it should be that way. I feel like these two arcs are like one big arc. But I guess I'll put Ines Lobby above Water 7, simply because Ines Lobby is the climax, or Water 7 is a setup. But Water 7 had the climax of its own. Bro, these two arcs, oh my goodness. I could honestly make a video of just why these two arcs are so good. These two arcs are not just the best two arcs in all of One Piece, for me, but they're also the two best. They're the best arc in all of anime and manga ever, in general, ever. And nothing has ever topped these two arcs in so many ways. I think these two arcs are like perfection. They are perfection. I think these two are actually the closest thing you could get to a perfect shonen arc. Water 7 Ines Lobby. It did so many things right. Oda cooked in so many ways, exactly right, so many ways, and I could just make a freaking hour, like a 2 hour long essay video if I knew how to edit properly and all that stuff. I could make a whole video talking about why this arc is so good, and I'd reread the arc just to make that kind of video. But I uh, I don't even know where to begin. Let's begin with the characters, because for me, when I watch a story or read a story or experience a story in general, for me the most important part is the characters, not as much as story itself or the plot or the atmosphere. The characters. So you can have a bad story, boring world, but if you have good characters, I'm in. The characters are the most important part, because the characters are for me like what hooked me to the story. I need the characters to be enjoyable. If the plot is good but the characters are kind of boring to follow, I don't care how good the plot is. The plot could be ingenious. The characters need to be engaging. So let's start with the characters. Let's start with Luffy, the captain himself. Oh my god, what a setting this lobby. It's so good. Okay, starting with Luffy. At the end of Long Ring Long Land, Aokiji comes up. Oh my god, how do I even talk about this? It's so good. Aokiji comes up and he destroys the entire crew, and Luffy's helpless. He can't do anything about it. Or he gets wrecked. The entire crew gets wrecked. And this setup from Long Ring Long Land is so good for Water 7. What's bound to happen in Water 7 in this lobby, because right off the bat, Luffy gets a reminder of yo, I'm a little bit weak. Like, I can't defend my crew. If a really strong opponent comes up, I cannot defend my crew. And what was it we established back in what was it again? Was it Arlon Park? What was it we established? That Luffy's supposed to, yeah, back in Arlon Park when Luffy made his whole speech that, yeah, I can cook, I can't cook, I can't fight with with the swords, I can't navigate, and I can't even lie. But you know what I can do? I can beat you up. That's what he said to Arlon Park, to Arlon back in Arlon Park. But then in Long Land slash at the end of it, slash at the start of Water 7, immediately that gets questioned. Luffy's role as a captain gets questioned immediately by Aokiji, and it's peak writing. It's actually peak writing. Immediately it gets questioned because Aokiji destroys Luffy, showing that, okay, Luffy, so you're supposed to be the rock of your crew. You're supposed to be the captain. You're supposed to be able to defend them. Sure, you can cook, you can't navigate, you can't fight with swords, you can't lie, you can't heal people. You're not a doctor. Okay, so you're supposed to defend your crew, right? You're supposed to be strong, but you just got destroyed by Aokiji. So that gets questioned. All right, Luffy, you're the captain. Come on, you should be strong. That's your job. That's your job. Immediately. So before the arc even begins, but Luffy's not just the captain says that he's supposed to be strong, but he's supposed to unite the crew together. That's his whole thing, is that he's the uniter of the crew. He's got the charisma to unite the crew together. And what happens in 107 is Lobby, I'd argue the biggest separation of the crew ever in the history of One Piece. The crew gets separated in so many ways, and it's not just because Robin leaves and the whole thing with Usopp leaves as well. Not just that, but like I feel like even with the remaining crew members, you felt it. You felt it. There was a disconnect with all of them. Zoro and Sanji had like a little disconnect. It's like, yeah, they always argue, but like they genuinely had that little disconnect that I feel like. And Sanji with Luffy as well. Sanji like had that like one time where he kicked Luffy. He was like, "Yo, what's up, Luffy?" Like that was genuine, like like clash, and you felt it, and it was so well done. And Luffy, as a captain, had to. I feel like Luffy had to reflect upon himself this arc. Had to reflect about what what am I to do? Like, you know, what I'm the captain. What's up? What is my next? What is my next go to, right? And so, you know, y'all know what happens in Water 7. Robin leaves, right? Usopp, we have the whole thing with the ship. I don't want to get too detailed on the ship because we're focusing on Luffy's character here. The ship, the whole thing with the ship. Frankie shows up, takes the money that they got from Skypiea. Uh, yeah, the whole thing with the ship, right? Usopp gets angry because Mary cannot be fixed. Yada yada yada. There's a clash between Luffy and Usopp. Usopp leaves the crew. Usopp loses the fight, leaves the crew. He takes the ship with him though. I think they gave him the ship, or yeah. Luffy and the rest abandon abandon the ship, quote unquote. They don't really abandon it. We get the point. Okay, and then we get to the Galilei bit where the CP9, the villains, you know, they're you know, the carpenters that are actually undercover agents for the government, the CP9, Cyberpol. They obviously they raiding the whole thing, and then Luffy comes in with Zoro, and Nami's there too, I guess, and Chopper. And the whole thing with the whole stuff with Robin, Iceberg stuff happens. I don't want to get too deep into this right now, or because again, Once When Lobby deserves its own video essay. That's the thing. I want to try and do this as brief as I can because I could just talk about these arcs for hours and hours. But basically, I'm not gonna get too deep into the Iceberg Robin stuff, but I could. Luffy, again, gets demolished by the CP9. Can't do anything against Bluno, right? He does not know how to anticipate the Rokushiki attacks. Then gets destroyed by Lucci when he goes into his leopard form. Gets thrown out of there. Zoro also gets thrown out of there, and they get destroyed. The whole place burns down. The place, you know, where Iceberg was chilling, and then we get an epic Nami moment. I don't know if I'm gonna get this right now. I'll get to it when I get to Nami's character, because we have an epic Nami moment, which I think is extremely underrated, with multiple epic Nami moments. Okay, back to Luffy. Luffy gets wrecked. Fine. And I feel like this is the point where Luffy kind of has his moment to reflect, right? He's stuck between these two buildings. And Nami has like so many good moments, because Nami has a lot of great moments here. She gives the speech to Luffy. We're gonna get into that later when I get to Nami and her role in this arc. But okay, every single Straw Hat is so important in this arc, because every single Straw Hat had their moment and had their amazing character moments and amazing character development. But okay, Nami gives her whole speech to Luffy, like, come on, man, step it up. Like, you gotta be a better captain. And Luffy, I feel like, had this moment to reflect upon, like, yeah, I gotta get stronger. Like, I'm not being a proper captain. What am I doing? We're all dislocated. Like, what are we disconnected? What am I doing? He pushes Billy to the side. They get on Rocket Man train thing. They go over to Eunice Lobby where Robin's at. Again, I haven't gone into details the plot points into why Robin, what's going on with Robin, why she left, all that. I haven't gone into the details because I'm focusing on Luffy's character. So, and I'm assuming when you're watching, if you're watching this, you already know about what's happening in Eunice Lobby. I'm not gonna go too detailed into like why the plot is the way it is. So, they go to Eunice Lobby. Luffy jumps off early, gets out of there early, and I feel like obviously part of it is yeah, they had a plan to go, and Luffy doesn't follow the plans. Obviously, part of it is obviously Luffy's not following plans, but also another part of it is Luffy kind of needed to prove himself, kind of like being like, I gotta be there for Robin. I gotta be there as early as I can to show Robin that I'm there, that I'm capable, that I'm strong, and that she should put her trust in me. And I think that's big. I think that's big from Luffy, is that he takes the choice to go solo, to go there early, because everyone else has their whole plan with the snails, Sodom and Gomorrah. They have to kind of go in. Yeah, it's a Bible reference. Yes, Sodom and Gomorrah. They go in, right? But for Luffy, like wants to be there quick, wants to show up to Robin, wants to scream at her like, "Yo, I'm here. You can put your faith in me. You can trust me now, right?" Uh, because I feel like Luffy also felt that for Robin back when Luffy fought Aokiji, that Robin's trust already from back then. Robin didn't fully trust, not that she didn't fully trust Luffy, but Luffy wasn't strong enough to defend the crew. And Luffy's here, coming here to Enies Lobby with a new mindset of, nah, I gotta get stronger, and I want to show Robin that I'm stronger, that I'm strong enough to protect her and protect her to the crew, so that she doesn't need to sacrifice herself for us. She doesn't need to do this, right? She can put her faith in me, and that's big from Luffy. Makes that early decision, goes there early, meets up with Bluno, and that's like his first test. And that is why I unironically think, maybe not from a fight choreography level. Sure, the fight wasn't that great, but from an emotional standpoint, what the fight meant for Luffy, what the fight meant for the crew, what the fight meant for Robin, this might be my favorite fight in all of anime. Luffy versus Bluno. I know. And I know what you're thinking. What about Luffy versus Luffy? What about this fight? What it meant for Luffy, for the crew. I feel like, yes, Luffy's Luffy fight also meant a lot, but I feel like this is the fight that kind of spurs up everything. Because Luffy got destroyed by Bluno in Galila, and Sanji also got beat by Bluno in the train because Sanji snuck into the train because he wasn't really a part of it. I think I said Sanji was in Galila. No, he wasn't, but he snuck into the train. So Luffy also got beat. Sanji also got beat by Bluno. Luffy needed to make a statement. He needed to make a statement like, I'm that guy. I'm him. Right? I'm the captain. Like I'm strong. So Luffy starts fighting Bluno, and they just kind of start off clashing, whatever. But then Luffy goes, Gear second. And that's like his first. And I think it's so fitting that this is the fight where Luffy shows off his power up. This is the fight where Luffy has his first transformation. It's so fitting because I feel like this is the first turning point for Luffy as a captain, for what it means to be a captain. And Luffy's speech just before he goes Gear second is like, it's no good. He says, Dameda, it's no good. I'm too weak. Like, I need to get stronger for my crew. I noticed it when I found Aokiji. I'm too weak. I'm too weak for my crew. I need to get stronger. And I noticed I need to get stronger. Now I saw your moves back in Galila. You kick the ground really fast, and all that. To use your Okijiki moves. And I thought a way to get stronger. Then he goes Gear second. And after he goes Gear second, he makes a statement. He makes an example of Bluno. Destroys him. not only is it extremely satisfying in the way Luffy beats him up to a point, he just goes bam, 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 jet pistol, jet bazooka, goes in at him. Bluto's like, what the hell's going on? This guy, he wasn't this strong when I last fought him. Destroys him. Jet bazooka. Bluto just like, is there like, ugh, bang, done. Okay, so Bluto's just like, okay, like, he's strong. Luffy made a statement, and just to ensure that his statement was clear, he was off to go gear third. He's like, gear? You're done? That was enough? Cool. I'm stronger than I'm stronger than I thought. I didn't need to go gear third to beach. Bluto goes down. He makes a statement, because when the rest of the crew show up, they all see Bluto on the ground. They all see Luffy beat Bluto. And Luffy beat Bluto like with confidence, with like a big amount, you know what I mean? And Robin obviously sees that as well. Like, okay, yeah, Luffy took down Bluto. Yeah, it's like he needed to make that statement. So important. So when Robin eventually comes out, Luffy's like, "Hey, put your faith in us and tell us what you really want, right? What do you really, really, really want, right? Don't think about, oh, but I need to sacrifice for you all because you guys are not strong enough for this." Luffy makes that statement, and he's like, "You can put your faith in us. We are strong enough. We will go to great lengths to save you because we are strong and we will do this." You know what I mean? So Luffy as a captain, being reliable and showing Robin straight up, like, I will get you. I will go to these great lengths because I care about you, because I'm going to save you because you're a knockoff. And that's when Robin goes, "I want to live." In a fantastic scene. But it's all stems from Luffy and his dedication to be a strong captain, to be a reliable captain, to be a captain that they can all trust, that like a captain that they know they know he won't betray them. They know he'll always back them up no matter what, right? He'll go to the highest level security prison to save just one of them, just to save them, because for him they matter so much, right? Um, and yeah, I could go on a little more, but yeah, I think Enies Lobby is fantastic for character standpoint for Luffy, and not just for Luffy. That's just for Luffy. Obviously, later on goes on to beat Lucci on the stuff, but I feel like that's a continuation of what was currently happening, and then the Luffy and Usopp stuff gets resolved. So everything is fine in the end, but Luffy Luffy's role as a captain was questioned this arc so beautifully, and I think it was done so perfectly well. Next, we can get to Zoro. Um, every single show had something in this arc to do, right? Zoro first had the whole speech to Luffy, with the captain, and Zoro being that proper right hand man, telling Luffy, "This is what it means to be a captain. You have to make the tough decisions." Important from Zoro there to be that solid right hand man for Luffy, like that kind of talking person that he needs, right? He's not a yes man. Zoro's not a yes man. He has high expectations for Luffy. He has high expectations, you gotta do this. You know what I mean? And I think that's big. But also you have and then you have in his lobby he takes down yeah, he takes down Kaku using Ashura, another great moment. But yeah, Zoro being that kind of like, the rest of the crew, they're not gonna look at you as a captain as much as I am, right? I'm going to criticize you as a captain, like as your right hand man. I'm going to criticize your captainness, basically, and I think that's big from a character strength standpoint from Zoro. There, so yeah, I don't want to get too much into Zoro and his character for this arc, but yeah, takes down Kaku, and yeah, Zoro's important, right? Right, you know what I mean? He does his thing. So, um, next, do you want to talk about Nami now, or do I talk about Nami later? Because Nami, idiot, while it's having this lobby, I know what you're probably thinking. What, was Nami really that important? But just the moments with her. Okay, we'll get to Nami a little bit later. I think I'm gonna get to Chopper first. Chopper, because let's get to Zoro and Chopper in these characters, because like they might not have as much of a person, but Chopper's still very important. So Chopper, you know, he had his whole thing with the monster point, went crazy with that. I feel it was a big turning point for Chopper as well, to decide to use that to protect his crew, to help fight for his crew. I think that was big from Chopper. He had the whole scene at the Comisium with the end where he could move. So yeah, that was big for Chopper. Chopper also was one of the first to like scream out and say, "Hey, where you at, Luffy? Where you at, Zoro?" When they got thrown out of Galley Law, Chopper's like one of the big like proponent helpers there. But yeah, obviously, Monster Point Chopper went mayhem in his lobby. So okay, that was Chopper. And so you can see every single strat has an important role. This Chopper beating Kumadori in this lobby. Every single strat had an important role this arc in these two arcs. And I think they that's not necessarily the case for every other arc or in every major story arc. Like even in Wano, I don't feel like every single strat has been super important. Not as important as every single strat was in 170's lobby. And I feel like as you introduce more characters, especially as you have so many characters in Mono, the harder that kind of thing gets. Water 7 in this lobby, I feel like you had just the right amount of balance of characters where the new characters weren't enough to overshadow the Straw Hats to the point where it takes away from the Straw Hats' big moment. I feel like Wano Country is kind of like having that kind of issue where you have Law and Kid with their own characters. You have the Yonkos, you have Hawkins and Apu, these Supernova, but you also have the Scabbards and the other Wano Country piece, right? And you have Tom, and you have so many characters all going on at once, right? And Tom also being shown more importance than, for example, Kokoro and Chimney in Water 70's lobby. Kokoro and Chimney were a thing in Water 70's lobby, but they're not anywhere near as prevalent in the story as in Tama in Wano, for example. And you have Yasuya and his backstory, and Oden backstory. So Wano has a lot more going on, which kind of deviates the focus from the Straw Hats, and I feel like that's kind of a thing that loads of people have been noticing post time skips. Kind of they kind of defocusization. We've kind of been focusing less and less on the Straw Hats, and I kind of see that a little bit. Like I understand where they're coming from. What is East Lobby did not struggle with that, to say the least. Every single strat was important. So yeah, Sanji, I think we can get to Sanji next for what's in his lobby. Sanji, also important character moments for him. He gets on the train early to try and help Robin, but it didn't work out, and that's obviously it was very sore for Sanji that he can help Robin, and especially because she's a woman, and we all know how much Sanji cares about women. But y'all know what I mean, right? So for that must have hurt extra for Sanji. But uh, Sanji has other woman problems in his lobby. He fights Khalifa but gets destroyed, and it's a big statement from Sanji to then come back after getting splashed with water to save Usopp and Sogeking and Nami against Jabra. Big from Sanji there, in my opinion. That was an epic scene where Sanji first shows up, kicks Jabra, who's a wolf, and then the wolf goes, Jabra goes, "Who are you?" And Sanji takes out his cigarette. Zoro smiles, and Sanji goes, "I'm the hunter." Fantastic scene. I love that scene so much. The way Sanji beat Jabra as well with Diablo Jumbe is so good. So yeah, key character moments for Sanji here as well. Um, do you get to Usopp first or Nami first? I feel like Usopp. I feel like we'll go Nami first. Nami. Now, I want to talk about Nami because I feel like people forget how hugely the especially in Water 7 how important Nami was. The first big Nami scene is when Usopp had the money stolen from him by Frankie family, right? Usopp is like hell disappointed, right? Because oh man, they took away 100 million from us, 100 million berries from us. Oh no, right? Big, 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 ouch. And then he gets beat up. So when he gets beat up, and he gets beat up really badly, like he gets badly wounded, he's in the middle of the street. Nami goes up to him, and we all know how much Nami cares about money. Usopp is wounded, and there's a lot of bystanders around, like, oh, hey, you okay, bro? Nami goes up to it, crouches down, and then Usopp goes, Sorry, Nami. I'll let him take it. I let him take the money. And you know what Nami does? Huge character move from Nami, because Nami again and again has these allegations from people in the community who say all she cares about is money. She cares more about money than she does her crewmates. And then they use examples. The examples they use is from comedic moments where Nami will show more care for money than for Luffy, for example, in a comedic scene. No, obviously Nami does not care more about money than she does her crewmates. And this scene is like one of those that proves that it's such a great Nami scene, because Nami goes up to Usopp and goes, "It's fine. Don't worry about the money." Nami tells this to Usopp. He goes, "Don't worry about the money. It's fine. It's fine if they took it from me. Rest up." You know what I mean? Like, she goes, it's gonna be emotional just thinking about it. But she tells Usopp, like, it's okay. It's okay. I take whatever you know. You're hurt badly though. I know. And like please rest up. Don't do don't do any more reckless things. Right. Heal up. Get better. She tells him it's okay. Like, and the big thing here from Nami is the words of affirmation. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. It's okay. Nami tells, despite how much he cares about money. We all know how much on the money person Nami is, but she tells us it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Don't you know what I mean? And for me, that was a really hard hitting scene, because if it was any other character, it would have been like, okay, nice scene. But the fact that it came from Nami, who we know is such a big money grumbler, cat burglar and everything, and we know how much money means to her, and especially when you consider her backstory and how much money meant to her due to her backstory, her saying this and her showing this much care for a crewmate, like like Yusuf, like this, I think was big. The second huge Nami scene that I think is underrated. That scene is underrated to begin with. The second scene that I think is underrated is after the Gully Law stuff, where the whole thing gets burned down and Luffy and Zoro get thrown out. Iceberg is like, okay, so Robin just pieced out on y'all, and y'all lost that fight. So what's the plan now for your crew? And what's the plan now? Y'all split up and don't know what's going on. Iceberg asked Nami this, and Nami remains positive despite everything that just happened, despite the crew being in disarray. What's going on with Usopp? What's going on with Robin? These CP0 guys just completely destroyed us, burned everything down. Everything is everything's at rock. The thing is, we're at rock bottom. This is the point where in the arc where everything's at rock bottom. The struts are disconnected. They just got destroyed by the CP9. Robin's gone. Usopp's gone. It's just battle run. The Going Merry is found to be destroyed. What's up? What are we gonna do now? And Nami remains positive. This is the most rock bottom they are. Nami but still tells Iceberg, it's okay. I'll wake the buck Luffy up and he'll fix everything. I'll make sure he fixes everything. We'll be okay. Trust me. Like she tells Iceberg this, and Iceberg seems like like at first he's like a little bit not shocked, but he kind of makes this face of like, oh, okay, right. Despite all this, she's still remaining positive, right? And Nami's a little injured here as well. Iceberg then goes, all right, well, maybe I can trust you guys, something like that, right? Which I thought was big, and then that is followed up by then Nami jumping on the rooftop buildings, extremely dangerous to begin with, by the way, 'cause it's raining, so it's probably slippery, and this the Aqua Lugan incoming, but she jumps over all the way to where Luffy is at, and it was like, it's dangerous, Nami, but Nami does not care. She goes all the way over. It's like, Luffy, come on, wake up! What are you doing? Robin didn't really betray us. She's doing this to sacrifice herself for us. Come on, Luffy. Huge Nami moment to tell Luffy, like, come on, step it up. You're the captain, right? And Nami's reminded Luffy that he's the captain. He just step it up for the crew. Because, she ain't the fighter in the crew. Nami knows she ain't the fighter in the crew. She's the navigator. Luffy's the one that needs to step up here, not Nami. Nami's telling to wake up. She's just giving him a pep talk. Like, come on, this is how it is. You gotta wake up, and that's when Luffy goes, all right, I'm back in business, right? So I thought those Nami scenes are huge and underrated, and I think play big for Nami's character. And then obviously moving on to Ines Lobby, the way she took down Khalifa after Sanji was incompetent, because Sanji's incompetent against women. The way she took down Khalifa. A little bit of a disruption from Monster Chopper at one point, but she took her down in the end. She did her little illusion thing, and then in a chapter called Nami vs. Khalifa, I think, Nami took her down with the last Thunder Temple thing. Nicely done from Nami. Beat one of the major opponents, CP from the CP9. So yeah, overall a very solid arc for Nami, if you ask me. And then we have Usopp. Yeah, you have the whole Sogeking stuff. The whole fight with Luffy. Still the best, in my opinion, fight between the crew that's ever happened. It's happened multiple times. It's happened with Luffy and Sanji and Whole Cake Island as well. But I think the one in Water 7 was done the best. Their whole fight is so good. The Club Otterman stuff. Usopp bonding with Frankie. The whole Sogeking stuff and what that meant for Usopp's character. And then the very, very end of the arc at the Post lobby, the way Usopp apologizes to the rest of the crew and asked to be brought back to the ship after Luffy and Zoro had a little like banter talk with each other, and then Usopp gets brought back. I thought that was great. So yeah, there's Usopp. Was a lot of people were not happy with Usopp in this arc, but I thought Usopp was one of the best characters this arc. And then Frankie, he's not really a stride, but it's when he becomes a stride at the end of the arc because he built the Sunny Go, which is the new shape that the strides gain at the end of this arc. Frankie, yeah, Frankie also had a solid arc. He beat Fukuro. Got to see his backstory with Tom and that. So yeah, and then we got to learn that he's not as bad of a guy as we originally thought he was. And Robin, obviously, it goes without saying, amazing character. I Want to Live One was amazing. Her backstory is fantastic. Now finally learning why she is the way that she is. Like, you can tell from her personality. Like, it's not you can tell what type of past she's had. It's more of a you can tell that like she's had to force herself to be this way because of everything that's happened in life so far, and because of having a bounty of what 80 million or 79 million, 80 million. I don't really know. It's 79. I don't know exactly. Since the age of 8. I think it was 80 million. Since the age of 8. So yeah, she's been kind of like running away from the Marines for so long. She's been a fugitive for so long, and to finally have people to care for her, like Saul said, the she would find, I think was great. So yeah, now that was the art from the character side of things. I could also get into the art from the story side of things. Pluton and all the individual CP9 fights. Luffy, I could get more into Luffy's gear third against Lucci. I think I'm gonna leave it there. And I think if I want to do a whole in-depth video essay, I think that's open. I already did a kind of an essay there to begin with, so I'm probably going to be repeating a lot of the stuff that I've just said if I were to do that. But hopefully I gave you, at least from a character standpoint, an understanding of why I think Enies Lobby 47 is such a perfect arc. Why I think it's so well done, and why I think it's the best arc in all of anime and manga personally. So yeah, I'm gonna move on, but yeah, there's more to be talked about with More 70 Sloppy. There's more to be talked about in every single arc. It's not like I've gone into super detail in every single arc, but I just decided to go into super detail in this because I don't think any arcs are gonna go above this, and I'll explain why these two are my favorite arcs. Alright, Philip Bark. Let's go to this arc. Philip Bark, great arc. Laboon stuff comes up again. Zoro's fight with Ryuma, I think it was memorable. We actually enjoyed the comedy in this arc is so good. The art as well. I think this is I think Oda we went hand with the art in Thriller Bark. The zombie stuff I thought was interesting. Mori was not quite the best villain. Neither was a lot of the side villains. Absalom, friggin' Hofupufu guy. Hogback. Hogback also not a great villain with Sindri. Honestly, best character to come out of this for me was Perona. Perona is a fan favorite character, but also one of my favorite, female characters in One Piece, as well as having the best female character design in One Piece, in my opinion. Kiboshi's cute as well. So yeah, she's like the one card, the one card, positive card to come out of this. And you can tell because Oda's reused Perona in future arcs, whereas he hasn't really used. I mean, he has reused all the characters in future arcs, but not the same way he's reused Perona. So you can tell that she ended up being a fan favorite, which makes sense in my opinion. But other than Perona, characters are kind of disappointing, as villains at least. But I thought the whole zombie stuff was interesting. All this whole take in on the Halloween scary horror stuff, hilarious scenes. Right, Luffy pushing the zombie back down the grave. Y'all have heard people talk about this a million times. To that scene. So yeah, and of course you cannot talk about Thriller Bark without talking about its ending. Zoro's Nothing Happened. Yeah, that's arguably the best scene and moment in all of One Piece, and for that and for a lot of the other queens I mentioned, I think Thriller Bark goes to A tier. Is it better than Jump Island? I think yes. Is it better than Jaya? I also want to say yes. I think I prefer Thriller Bark. I think Thriller Bark is a very very good arc. I think Thriller Bark is an arc that a lot of people rate lowly. I haven't talked about Brook, but I think Brook is a very fun character, a very fun Straw Hat. Uh, I do think in that sense it's a little bit of an underrated arc. A lot of people I know would rate it C tier or something, but nah, I think it deserves this spot. It's not quite as good as Arm Park or Alabasta, but yeah, I'll put it there. Sabaody. Sabaody, honestly, introduction of Rayleigh, which I've talked about how it was set up earlier, but not just the introduction of Rayleigh, the supernova, Kizaru, the crew, the way the crew got split up, and the emotional scene behind it, because I had no idea what was gonna happen next. The entire crew split up. I was like, yo. But yeah, Rayleigh, Kami, and Duval, hilarious. But yeah, Kami, the whole racism thing, the Celestial Dragons, Zoro about to slash them. Nami willing to pay to get Kami back and get her back her freedom in the auction house. So good. The way we see that the Sabaody archipelago, like, you know, uh party, what was that, the building, the way that building inspired Arlon Park, the parking of Arlon Parks, like that building, because the deep-rooted racism of the fishmen. We start to understand why Arlong is the way he is in Arlon Park. Sabaody archipelago S tier. Okay, I'll just say that right now, S tier. uh yeah, I also want to say at the end of this lobby, Luffy's bounty increased to 300 million. I should have mentioned that. But yeah, Sabaody archipelago S tier. Yeah, introduction of supernovas, the Luffy Law Kid meetup, gang meetup, so good. The crew all getting split up, the way that emotionally scarred me, bro, so good, so good. Kizaru getting to see our second admiral, his introduction, the way he arrived on the cannonball, fantastic. Yeah, there's just so much good stuff to say about Sabaody. Rayleigh, come on, man, right hand man of Roger, set up since friggin' Orange Town when we Shanks and Boggy had their argument about the South and North Pole. Yeah, Shocky as well, great character. That one scene where Radio's like, I could reveal what the One Piece is all about and what the Void Century is, and Luffy goes, "No, Usopp, shut up! Don't let him reveal. It's the adventure." Great scene. Yeah, I can keep on going, but Sabaody is an S tier arc. I was debating put it maybe high A tier, but yeah, no, I think S tier makes sense. Is it above Skypiea? Questionable. I think for now, honestly, maybe, but I think these two could go back and forth. Amazon Lily, another arc. Honestly, so many arcs. While I'm looking at this list, so many arcs that I think are just underrated. Amazon Lily, I thought was a very, very good arc. I want to put it high B tier, arguably low A. Low A, is it? It's not better than Drum Island, I don't think. No, it's not better than Drum Island. But I do think it is better than Baratier. I want to go as far as it's better than Baratier. I'll put it top of B for now. Amazon Lily, I think it's a little bit underrated because I've seen so many people say it's one of the worst arcs in One Piece. I actually want to defend it here. I think Boa Hancock is first things first a fantastic character. I think she's one of the best female characters in all of One Piece, and one of the best written. Can I just talk about that? The best written female character in the entire series, and it all starts up here when we get to see a little bit of her trauma and all that stuff, and why she is the way that she is, and what does it mean for her to be, for her duty to be the pirate empress, right, and the empress for the Kuja clan. Huge. Of her falling in love with Luffy, the whole gag thing. I actually quite like that gag personally, right? The well-known, most beautiful woman in the world is in love with our main character because, of course, she is. But yeah, you had very good scene. I mean, you're gonna say very good scene. Marguerite. Um, I'm gonna skip the scene for later. First, I'm gonna talk about Marguerite. Marguerite, I think, is a great character as well. I don't see enough people talking about her either. Her and Luffy's dynamic I thought was great. But yeah, she eventually gets stoned because stoning powers and everyone's in love with her. So as long as you feel affection for her or feel this, you know what I mean, you get stoned. So she got stoned, and Luffy had to choose between you know saving her and going to, and going getting a boat to go back to his crew, and Luffy without hesitation choosing to save Marguerite and the stoned woman. Obviously that kind of helped Boa Hancock fall in love with Luffy. um and yeah, the Fisher Tiger backstory, that was not this arc, that was the Fishman Island arc, wasn't it? But it is relevant to what happened to Boa Hancock, though. I think that's why I mentioned the Fisher Tiger backstory. It happens during the Fishman Island arc, but it is relevant to Amazon Lily and Boa Hancock. So I'll leave it there for now. Fair enough. But yeah, I really like Boa Hancock. I really like the Amazon Lily arc. I like the Luffy kind of tournament thing, round thing, gladiator thing he has, which will come up again in Dressrosa. But I really like the whole thing that Luffy has there. And that brought about some epic moments, as well as Conqueror's Haki, Luffy's first usage of Conqueror's Haki, which was very hype. Oda, kind of set up a Conqueror's Haki. It's been set up since Abaori with Rayleigh, but we see that Luffy's can do it and Boa Hancock can do it. It's like, okay, we have these mysterious powers that exist. So yeah, I thought it was a great arc. Moving on, Impel Down. This is an arc where actually I think it's the opposite. Where I've said till now a lot of arcs are overrated, underrated. I think it's the opposite. I think Evil Done is slightly overrated. I've seen a lot of people say that this is one of the best arcs in One Piece and stuff, but I personally don't feel that way. I still think it's a great arc. With the Bon Clay sacrifice, Ivankov, I think is great. Zuma and the whole like level 5.5 gang. Buggy making his return, Mr. 3. Hilarious arc. I think Magellan is a fantastic villain. All in all, a very solid arc and a great setup arc to Marineford, right? With Annie, you also have Crocodile. So many good stuff with Impel Down. I just don't quite think it's S tier like everyone likes to say it is right off the bat. I actually want to put it A tier for me. But yeah, still obviously it's one of the best stories in One Piece, but it's S tier. But for me, I think it's A tier. And I want to, yeah, I want to put it above Drum Island and above Jaya. Is it above Thriller Bark? I think no. Maybe. I think this is debatable for me whether it's above Thriller Bark or not. I think it's a bit of a struggle. But yeah, very good setup with Marineford. But I don't think it's quite as peak as a lot of other people say it is. Personally, I think it's a solid 8 tier arc. It's One Piece's good arcs, but it's not just. I don't personally rate it that highly. Yeah, Magellan's great. Hannibal is great. Sadie and Domino, the Hotties. Yeah, they're here. I still remember them to this day. The different levels and the atmosphere of this arc was very, very good. The way things got more and more difficult for Luffy as he went down. The poison stuff, now Luffy's much more immune to poison than he used to be before, and that's the entire reason why he didn't die in Whole Cake Island, is because he was immune to poison. Lucky for him. Well, not completely immune to poison, but you know what I mean. It doesn't affect him anywhere as much as it did before. Yeah, Now let's get to Marineford. I don't think it's going to be a shock when I say that Marineford is S tier. I think it's above Sabaody, but I don't think it's quite as good as Water 7 East Lobby. Again, Water 7 East Lobby for me, I count it as one arc, but whatever. It's flipped into here, whatever. I think Marineford is S tier. I think it's the second best arc after East Lobby. Uh, do I really have to go into detail? do, do I really have to explain myself? Whitebeard, the war, Mihawk, Shanks showing up at the end, Blackbeard showing up at the end, the way the war ended, Ben Beckman doing his thing. I'm just going straight to the end. Luffy saving Ace a little bit, and then Ace getting killed. Oh my goodness, bro! The pacifista. How I could keep going on and on. Buggy. I feel like I could keep on Akainu, Wiper being crazy. Wiper had so many good scenes. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. That what the impact the war had on the world in general. I, y'all know how it is. It's Marineford. I don't. Yes, Squad's betrayal. I Luffy has that little Conqueror's hockey thing again. It's revealed that Luffy and Ace are not blood-related brothers, and that Luffy, obviously Luffy's father. That was revealed in this lobby actually, that Luffy's father is Dragon. But now we revealed that Ace is Roger's son. Little plot twist thing there, which I thought was so good, man. And yeah, yeah, Mihawk. Mihawk's whole speech with Luffy, saying that Luffy has that charisma power, which we've seen him to have and we've known him to have. Doflamingo's speech about war, about how poor people never know what it's like to be rich and rich people never know what it's like to be poor, and that you know the victors are the justice, right? Like, you know what I mean? Who's justice? It's the people who win. They're the ones who decide what justice is. That speech, amazing. I read it in manga recently. I think it's in volume 57. Volume 57, I think. I don't remember, but I remember it. I remember reading it physically in the manga as I was like rereading a little bit of Marineford. Hey, I don't I don't need to go into detail for this for you to explain why. Blackbeard's got two Delphits now. Cool. Shanks ending the war. Holy friggin' crap! This arc, and it's divided. This arc is only like 30 chapters long. So like all these peak stuff happened in only 30 chapters. Amazing. Um, and then you also have yeah, in Ines lobby. I forgot to mention posting this lobby. Shanks and Whitebeard meet up, and Shanks talk about how he got his three scars on his eye from Blackbeard. Which, yeah, again, we see that once again in Marineford because Blackbeard like nods at it like, oh, how's your eye doing? Okay, next is Return to Sabaody. This is just a return. The Strides meet up again. Some cool epic scenes with Luffy dodging the light. Other than that, I see no reason to put it any higher than a D tier. It's better than Syrup Village, I guess. But the Strides meet up. It's nice. Nice to see their post-time skip designs, even though a lot of the post-time skip designs are kind of a downgrade from their pre-time skip designs, in my opinion. At the time, I thought it was kind of like the opposite. What's the opposite of recency bias? Nostalgia bias. But now that it's been so many years since the time skip, I still think that a lot of the pre-time skip designs were better. I'm like, whatever. I think, okay, which designs I think are better? I think Luffy's the same. Whatever. I think Zoro could argue is a little better post time skip than pre time skip, but it's mostly the same. Whatever. Fine. I think Sanji, the beard I liked at the start, but now I'm not too sure if I found the goatee thing he's got going on. I don't know, but it's also kind of the same. His hair is flipped. See, the designs get worse when you get to characters like Chopper. Like, what did they do with his hat? They made it more of a mascot. I don't really care too much about the mascot part. But I really liked how he looked pre-timeskip. I was more of a not as much of a plushie. You know what I mean? Of a mascot, and more of an actual like he's you know cooler design character. Frank as well. He just became way too ridiculous. Brooke's the same. Robin, man, I really liked her how what's the word again? 1 second, y'all. Bangs. I really like Robin's bangs. You can see there in Ines Lobby. I was trying to think of the word. I really like her bangs, her hair on her forehead. That's what I was trying to find. I literally googled hair on forehead. Don't know what the word is. Yeah, I really like her bangs pre-time skip. Post-time skip, they removed her. They ordered changes that so that she doesn't have bangs anymore. And I don't know. I'm a fan of women with bangs personally, and I like that, which is why I like that kind of design. Um. Okay. Yeah. Like I was saying. So I think Robin is a little bit worse. Nami is worse just from the aspect of like she. I mean, the same thing as history for Robin, but she's just gone mega sexualized now. Recently, I really like her Zoe design. Nami's Zoe design, I think, is Nami's best design. Other than what Nami's Water 7 says very good. Not Ines Lobby, but specifically Water 7. The blue kind of shirt she wears, very good design. But I think her Zoe design is arguably the best for Nami. Um, but yeah, I don't like the extreme sexualization of Nami and Robin and just the female characters in general. Post time skip, Nami basically going out with. I mean, she's basically wearing a bikini everywhere she goes. I mean, she's wearing jeans, and like a friggin' just a bra for a top. And there's even a whole scene in Punk Hazard. I was rereading Punk Hazard a little bit in the manga because I have it physically, right? And I was seeing how uh what's his name? Kinemon said, "Yo, why are you so naked?" Not because Kinemon's obviously from Wano, so he's not used to women wearing, being as light dressed as Nami was in Punk Hazard, right? And Nami goes, "It's fashion. You ever heard of it?" And they're like, "Are we really doing this right now? Okay, okay, all right, fair enough. Just wearing a bra as a top is fashion. Okay, you know what I mean? I don't know." And also, it's just like the fact that she's these extreme sexualization, but it's also just like how much their breasts grew. You know what I mean? Nami in early arcs did not have breasts that big. you know, all right. Like I understand she's a couple years older, and people will say, but oh, okay, she went from being 18 years old to 20. Maybe during those 2 years, she grew up and physically as well. Then can you use the same logic for Robin though? Because Robin went from being 28 to 30, and I don't think your breast is supposed to grow that much bigger from 28 to 30. I don't if at all, if they're supposed to even grow at all when you're at that age, because Robin's already a grown woman. Just saying. But okay, all right. So yeah. Other than that, I think Usopp's design, eh, eh. People Stansky's kind of just eh. I mean, I like that he's more jacked now. I guess. I guess I like that he's more jacked now. Um. Yeah, but Frankie's just gone crazy. What they did with Frankie's horrific. Okay, anyway, D tier, sure. I mean, I'm okay with that. Fishman Island is an arc that's very famously disliked because of the terrible villains, which did have terrible villains. Hody got beaten by Zoro at the very start of the arc. It was ridiculous, and then he took on a lot of steroids, which is why he was able to keep up with Luffy. But so the villains weren't great. I completely forgettable. But what was memorable is the themes with racism. The Fisher Tiger flashback, one of the best flashbacks. I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. Fisher Tiger saying that no matter what, he does not want to take the blood of a human. The way racism impacted him and the fishermen and all that. I thought those themes were done so well. The whole lore was done so well. Uh, so for me, Fishman Island would go. Think probably like below Loketan, above Whiskey Peak, maybe. Nah, it's better than Loketan. What am I saying? Yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, the whole the Fisher Tiger flashback definitely helps Fishman out a lot. Um, is it better than Baratier, or are we being too unfair with Baratier? Well, is it good at Jump Island and Jaya? Probably not, right? Fishman Island should probably just stay in B tier. Should probably not be raised any higher than that, but should it be raised higher? Baratier or Fishman Island. It's so rogue because they're such different arcs. Zoro and Mihawk fight was good, but I'm gonna have to be honest. I think from a writing perspective, Fishman is just a much more grand scale arc and does so much more. The Luffy versus 50,000 Fishmen as well. Yeah, you can't be forgetting that. Yeah, fair enough. But I don't think it's better than Amazon Lily or Drama. I don't think it's quite up there as Amazon. I think Amazon Lily should just stay top of B tier. Um, yeah. Yes. Okay, Punk Hazard. Another arc that's not really beloved by much by the community, but you know, it does reintroduce Law again and the whole alliance with Luffy and Law. Luffy and Law also has the epic moment of where he breaks the gear and he's like, "Yeah, the Marineford War, ended an era. We're now in a new era, and I'm here to break the gear." I thought it was a great moment. So Law, good stuff. Um, trying to think. Trying to think where I rate this. Caesar I think is an okay villain. I honestly like Caesar more in future arcs than I do in Punk Hazard. I prefer Caesar in Dressrosa and especially in Whole Cake Island. Caesar in Whole Cake Island is hilarious. So yeah, I like Monet. I thought she was a great character, fantastic character design. And yeah, I like the whole scene with her and Zoro. Rest in peace to her, by the way. Her and Virgo both ended up dying because the whole thing blew up. Well, no, she ended up dying because Caesar mistakenly stabbed her heart and she died because he was trying to stab Law, right? Or Smoker. He was trying to stab Smoker, but Law switched his heart with Monet's heart. I don't quite remember how it went exactly, but I think he was trying to stab Smoker and killing Smoker or Law. I'm not too sure which one of those two. But he ended up stabbing and killing Monet instead. She was gonna get blown up by the factory anyway. The factory blew up and killed her and Virgo. Yeah, the way Law has destroyed Virgo, fantastic scene. Smoker showing up again, reintroduce himself post time skip, getting wrecked by Law. Law destroyed a couple of people this arc. The alliance between Law and Luffy starting up. The Yeti Cool brothers, we don't talk about them. Some funny scenes as well, I guess, like Law and like Luffy asking Luffy if he's gonna betray him because pirates alliances are known to be about betrayal. And Robin he's Luffy clearly he's Robin's warning of saying that pirates betray each other, and Robin obviously knows this because she's personally experienced this because she's gone through a lot of pirates. Alliances throughout her lifetime before she became a part of the Straw Pirates. So Luffy goes, "Oh yeah, Law, you're gonna betray me?" Law says no. So Luffy goes, "Yeah, GG, you did it." You lost trustworthy. So yeah, some funny scenes as well as Chopper, being on top of Lost Hat, and going out with him. Great funny scene there too. And Law from that moment on just regretting that he ever decided to make an alliance with these guys, but also it did work out very well for Law considering what happened just Rosa and also in Wano, so far, at least. I mean, unless Kaido wins, I mean, so far Law and Kid have beaten Big Mom. Unless Kaido wins his fight against Luffy, which I highly doubt will happen. Although some people want the raid to fail, I doubt that will happen. I do think Luffy will beat Kaido. But if on the option Kaido beats Luffy and then the raid fails or whatever, then I guess it didn't go as well for Lost Yet Hope because the entire reason they did ally with each other was to beat a Yonko. But at the very least for Law, things went well in Dressrosa because they beat the Flamingo and the Flamingo as the Flamingo and Law have history together. So obviously Law wanted to take care of the Flamingo and beat him up, and Luffy did just that. And I love how Law also saw the Flamingo as a stepping stone more so than someone that like he personally had a vendetta against. I thought it was great. So yeah. Anyway, Punk Hazard ranking. I think it's another B tier arc, or maybe it's even C tier. I think I might put it at the top of C tier. Because I like Reverse Mountain more. Reverse Mountain had some funny scenes though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it C tier. I'm not the biggest fan of Punk Hazard. Um, Loverick the Gear moment is cool, but yeah, and I think I will have to put it at C tier here. I think that's the best spot for Punk Hazard personally. Um, because I feel like Caesar left more to be desired. The whole Smiley stuff dragged off a bit long, and the whole factory weird stuff was a bit long. And what the Yeti Cool Brothers was such a dumb concept. That whole, a lot of things that kind of was about. But yeah, Aokiji and Akainu fighting each other. I guess that was good. That was a nice mention there. Okay, Dressrosa. What a title of an arc. This was known as the longest One Piece arc for a while, for years before Wano. Wano is now come and taken over and become the longest One Piece arc. But Dressrosa known as the longest One Piece arc, extremely long, huge story arc. Anime beat Doflamingo. Doflamingo best villain in the series, and now the Dressrosa did feel like it was dragging here and there, even in the manga, by the way, not just in anime. Even in the manga, it did feel like it was dragging here and there. But overall, good stuff. Introduction to the Colosseum fighters, which become part of the Triad Grand Fleet, which is fantastic. Luffy goes gear 4th for the first time. Pound Man, good stuff. I love to see it. Zoro has his epic moment against Pika. Robin has her little speech about Luffy and how she trusts Luffy. The Tontaros were great. Lost Baxter was so good. Doflamingo's Baxter was so good. Their whole dynamic was so good. Fujitora up in the building. Sabo coming back, making a return after we all thought he died. Totally, yeah. We totally nobody was expecting Sabo to come back. But yeah, Dressrosa, I don't think I have much else to say. Bellamy coming back as well. Some good fights. It's a very long arc. So there's a lot to say about it, but I'm gonna choose not to, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and rank it above Thriller. Oh, well, pause. Above Thriller Bark, but below Harlem Park. I think so. Again, Harlem Park is such a solid first big kind of story, or not big story. The first big story is Alabasta, but kind of first this the arc where you know if you're gonna get it to One Piece or not, and I think it's so well done. So I think I'm gonna let it be above Dressrosa for now. Next we have Zoe. Zoe is such a good arc, just for lore. I'm just thinking lore wise, Zoe is so good. So I think in that regard, yeah, the Poneglyph stuff. Also, yeah, I'm forgetting. Uh, Rizo being safe, one of the best scenes. It's so good, man. The Minx, sort of the Minx, Zunisha, yeah, learning about the rope poneglyphs, uh, Jack being the first Bill and Berry bounty, and how I remember how scary Jack was when we first met him. I was like, yo, this guy's got a Bill and Berries. Big stuff, and the lore, and like the adventurous feel of being on top of an elephant. I think all that is good. So I wanna go ahead and put so. Actually, I'm trying to think where to rank Zoe now. Because it's Zoe. Um, Rise of Safe Woman is goaded. I think for now I'm gonna put it between Dressrosa and Thriller Bark. Think so. I think so. I appreciate a lot for its lore and all that good stuff, but yeah, it's just not a not one of the extremely high big story arcs which come later on that have a lot more great moments than obviously Rise of Safe Moments is great, but it had a lot of more great moments and character development moments and all that. So I think it's fair for Zoe. Whole Cake Island, Sanji does his shenanigans. Um, Luffy showing off multiple Gear 4 forms here with both Tank Man, the big fat Luffy, fighting Cracker, beating Cracker with the help of Nami. Nami being a very good character this arc. But it's not just Tank Man. Is also you also have Snake Man. Luffy's fighting against Karakuri. Karakuri is a fantastic villain, by the way. Also one of my favorite One Piece villains. And the way he counteracts Luffy, and the way they're kind of just kind of like parallel with each other. I think it was great. Pudding and her story with Sanji, I thought was well done. They're a little dynamic. Uh, Big Mom, not super big fan of her character, not both in Whole and in Wano, but I can tolerate her. I think she's okay overall. So I'm gonna put Whole Cake Island, and you also have Carrot. Carrot going Sulong, that was big for me. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sulong Carrot. Pedro's sacrifice was a very good moment. Jinbei finally joined the Straw Hats, and yeah, Jinbei's epic moment where he says, "I'm not gonna be scared of Mir Yonko." Brook had some great moments. Brook had a great Whole Cake Island arc, you know. Big fan of him. What he did, fight against Big Mom and the whole portrait thing, good stuff. Stussy was here along with um some other gangs of people that were to celebrate the whole wedding fest ceremony thing. Yeah, Whole Island, good stuff. Luffy's fight against Sanji, of course. Luffy and Sanji is great. I think I'm trying to debate whether I think Whole Cake is better than Dressrosa or not, and I think it is. I think it's quite as good as Arlen Park, but I do think it's better than Dressrosa. I think it fits a lot of 8-year arcs. Drum Island Kid to fair be moved to be, and so can Zoe, and so can Jaya. I mean, and let like some of the longer story arcs stay up in A. Could do that. The Reverie, as the terrible edited big discount square that I made. Um, the Reverie, I think it goes without saying that this this arc had so much. Just this is one of those arcs that is like it's not even it's not even. I mean, One Piece doesn't really have these kind of arcs, but it's one of those you realize how much is going on in the world around, and that the straws really aren't the main center focus of the world. There's so much going on in the world around them that has nothing to do with the Straw Hats. I think this article does a great job of just showing that, hey, you know what, you've been following the straws the entire time, but guess what? You have all these other people to deal with as well. All the other people that you could be thinking about as well. Um, and not just that, but also the way the Straw Hats and Luffy affect the world. So it's not just that the Straws are just a small part of the world, but it's also the way they affect it, right? With the way Shirahoshi, Vivi, and Rebecca all become gang up together. Sabo being important, but also yeah, Lucci and the CP0. Bonnie, Bonnie was there as well for a little bit. But yeah, the Tuntara, yeah, again, all the different actors here, right? Part of the Stride Grand Fleet, with Leo being there. Um, and yeah, just like the lore, there's a lot of there's just lore. Great to see One Piece stuff going on, and just the politics of One Piece advancing, even though it's not necessarily directly related to Luffy or something Luffy's done. Shanks being a little like weird, you know what he's talking with the Gorosei, and yeah, the Russian army, Sabo, and all that. Yeah. So yeah, I really like the Reverie. Emu, I really like the Reverie. I think it is. I think I'm gonna put it like a little above Zoe maybe, because it's another lore arc, but it's just a different kind of lore. Now I'm gonna put it below Zoe, because Zoe has that epic, epic Raizo moment. But you know what the Reverie does have is the fact that I read this weekly, and like reading Reverie weekly was honestly much better than binging arcs. Because typically in One Piece you want to be binging these arcs. Reverie is one of the cases where like it was actually better to read it weekly with the fans, with the community, because then every single chapter you're like, yo, what is this? What's going on? And everyone tears into so much fun. But you don't really get to do that if you're binging it, because then you just go straight through it, and yeah, it's not as good. So yeah, I'm glad I was reading this weekly as it was coming out. Wando arc. Woohoo! All right, so this arc is not finished yet. I think we drop Iron down to B, by the way, top of B. Take Jaya as well. I think we let these setup arcs be at B tier. But yeah, Wano arc. The biggest problem with Wano arc right now and trying to rank it is the fact that it's not over yet. Again, we're only up to chapter 1040 as of now, so I don't know when it's gonna end. Hopefully, it ends before chapter 1100. Nah, it definitely should. It should. There's no way it's gonna go on for another 60 chapters. Again, Big Mom just got beat. I doubt Luffy and Kaido are gonna fight for more than like 15 chapters at this point. They shouldn't really. And then we have the post Wano stuff. That's obviously going to be very relevant, right? What are we gonna do now that two emperors are taken down? Probably. Yeah. What's gonna happen to the world? How does that affect the world? Along with the reverie, you know, the world will not be the thing anymore. How is the world going to change, right? It's probably gonna have a big effect. So I'm excited for the post Wano stuff. And so since we can't really take into account post Wano stuff and we don't really know what's gonna happen from this point onward. We don't know. Maybe the arc ends terribly and it's trash. That's the thing. We don't know any of that. We could end amazingly. Could have like an amazing climax, right, between Luffy and Kaido, and it could be great. I don't know. So as it stands, Act One and Act Two had a lot of kind of just parts where you felt slow paced. A lot of things that I honestly would have been fine without. The Yasuo stuff was good, to be fair. Um, but yeah, that's about it. A lot of Act One and Act Two, I'm not super. I mean, not the biggest fan of spending so much time at Udon. You also in Act Three, though, you have Odin's backstory, which is a fantastic backstory, by the way. Yeah, yeah, fantastic backstory. I think Odin's backstory is gonna play a big factor in how I'm gonna rank this because yeah, the whole stuff, you do be seeing Odin join up with Whitebeard, a much younger Whitebeard, and a young Roger, and the way those two were fighting, that was a hype chapter. It was done even better in anime form, to be honest. So I do think that yeah, the yeah. Um. mm, 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 mm. So for Wano, as of right now, Kid and Law just awaken the fruits and beat. Well, they didn't just awaken it, but they awaken the fruits and beat Big Mom. We don't know what's gonna happen with Kaido, but we'll see. Maybe Luffy awakens his fruit because maybe Law and Kid awakening their fruit is kind of just like Oda hinting, setting up for hey, if Luffy might awaken his fruit. That would be exciting. That would be one way to beat Kaido, I think. Because I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, Gear 5, Gear 5. But I feel like, nah, I feel like we're going to get a Luffy awakening. I think, because Gear 5 is like the last gear, well, it's not really. I've seen Gear 6s before, but typically Gear 5 is like, the last gear in a car. So like, I feel like Oda should just save Gear 5 for when Luffy fights Blackbeard, like the final boss, because that's like the last gear. Unless he's saving that for Gear 6, and that's the last gear, I don't know. And then for now, just to beat Kaido, the first Yonko Luffy beats, Luffy should just go Awakening. That's what I think. But we'll see what Oda decides to cook. We are not done with the arc yet. We'll see if Oda decides to give Luffy another power up. Before the end of the arc, I mean. Luffy did get the real power up. But yeah, Zoro did get his full confirmation that he has Conqueror's Haki. So like Zoro got a power up. Will Luffy get something similar? I mean, we already know Luffy has Conqueror's Haki and Conqueror's Haki coding, as well as Armored Haki and Armored Haki coding, thanks to your boy Hyogoro. But yeah, so far I feel like we need a conclusion to get a better read on Wano. So, but so far I've been liking it, and so I'm gonna put it just kind of below the Reverie, above Thriller Bark, I guess. For now, we're gonna need to see the conclusion of this to properly rate it, I feel like. Um, But yeah, below the Reverie, just because the Reverie, I guess it could be above the Reverie. And so, yeah, sure. And just put it just below just shows like it's just as a finished arc. Sure, sure. So we'll see how this finishes. Depending on how it finishes, I can see Wano moving way up to A tier, maybe even up to S tier. We'll see. But as of right now, what we've seen from Act 1 to Act 2 as well, taking that into account, I don't see it going up to S tier unless the conclusion is amazing and the post Wano stuff is actually S tier. Because again, I do like the Oden backstory, the Axe backstory, but a lot of the Act 1 and Act 2 stuff I'm not the biggest, like, you know, uh, fan of. So yeah, I've kind of just been like, yeah, okay, on that. So we'll see if one ends up becoming good enough to be an S tier arc. We'll see. We'll have to wait for it to conclude. And that's it. That's my One Piece arc tier list ranking. These are all the arcs. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this ranking from me in 2 years' time. I'll see you guys in 2 years when you guys finally get to see this. I spent a long time talking about Water 7 Years Lobby in this video, as obvious, because they are the two best arcs in my opinion. So you had to give them an actual time to talk about them. And honestly, even then, I didn't even talk about them that much. Like, again, I could talk about these two arcs for so much longer than I feel like I did. But yeah, that's it. These are my rankings. There you go. Yeah. And yeah, Skype is pretty high for me. A lot of you guys might be shocked. I think the arc person I think most people will be shocked by is Skypiea being so high, and that's it really. I don't think I have any other hot takes. Maybe Arnold Park is too high for me, but I just think it's such a great just starting arc, such a great hook arc. If you don't like One Piece by Arnold Park, that kind of arc, but it's just so solid. I think a lot of people might find that to be a hot take. Maybe Amazon Lily being here in B tier might be a hot take. I don't know. I think the biggest hot take I have is Skypiea being S tier. I do think it's an S tier arc. I do think people sleep on it, people hate on it too much. Otherwise, yeah, I'll see you guys in 2 years. Maybe in 2 years when this video comes out, I'll make an updated video because maybe then I'll have different thoughts, and then one will be a finished arc, and maybe we'll have an arc after Wano, Elbaf, and then we can rank that as well. Maybe we'll add Elbaf, and then we can rank Elbaf. We'll see. Okay, so yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this ranking, and I'll see you guys in several years from now. I was gonna say see you guys tomorrow or next time or something, but I don't really know what I'll be doing with YouTube 2 years from now. So I'll see you guys in whatever I do next, if I'm still alive to do anything next from now. Okay, that's a bit morbid, but I didn't mean it like that, but you know what I mean still, right? Come on now. Yeah. All right, y'all. So many ads. Can we just say no to the ads? No. Okay. All right. See y'all next time. Nakama. All my Nakama. All of you watching this. Love y'all. All right. Hope you enjoy watching this at least as much as I enjoyed doing this tier list. And yeah. Peace.